The Middle East stands at a crossroads. Once again, tensions are rising. The epicenter of this unease is Iran. Tehran's nuclear ambitions have put the region on edge. The specter of conflict looms large. The world watches with bated breath. The situation is complex. It is a tangled web of history, geopolitics, and ambition. At the heart of the matter is Iran's nuclear program. Tehran insists it is for peaceful purposes. However, the United States, Israel, and many Western powers remain skeptical. This distrust has fueled a dangerous cycle. Sanctions have crippled Iran's economy. Military threats have escalated. The possibility of a miscalculation, a spark that ignites a wider conflagration, is a chilling reality. Iran's nuclear program has been a source of contention for decades. The international community has long been wary of Tehran's intentions, suspecting that its nuclear ambitions may not be entirely peaceful. Tehran argues it has a right to develop nuclear energy. They insist that their nuclear program is solely for peaceful purposes, such as generating electricity and medical research. It points to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. This treaty, which Iran signed in 1968, allows for the development of nuclear technology for peaceful purposes. This treaty allows for peaceful nuclear activities. However, the line between peaceful and military applications of nuclear technology can be thin and easily blurred. However, the international community is not convinced. Many countries fear that Iran's nuclear program could be a cover for developing nuclear weapons. Iran has a history of secrecy surrounding its nuclear program. This lack of transparency has only fueled suspicions and heightened tensions. It has repeatedly broken its commitments under the NPT. Reports of undeclared nuclear sites and activities have led to accusations of non-compliance. This has led to sanctions and international isolation. The economic impact on Iran has been severe, affecting its economy and the daily lives of its citizens. The 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action offered a glimmer of hope. This landmark agreement aimed to limit Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for lifting economic sanctions. This deal, negotiated by the Obama administration, lifted sanctions in exchange for curbs on Iran's nuclear program. It was seen as a major step towards preventing nuclear proliferation in the Middle East. It was a significant diplomatic achievement. The agreement was hailed as a victory for diplomacy and international cooperation. However, the Trump administration withdrew from the JCPOA in 2018. This decision was met with widespread criticism and concern from the international community. This move, widely criticized by the international community, dealt a major blow to the deal. It raised fears of a renewed nuclear arms race in the region. Since then, tensions have steadily risen as Iran has resumed its nuclear activities. The future of Iran's nuclear program remains uncertain, with the world watching closely. Facing mounting pressure, Iran has adopted a two-pronged strategy: military deterrence and diplomatic outreach. Tehran has significantly bolstered its military capabilities in recent years, particularly its missile program. Iran's ballistic missile program is one of the largest in the Middle East. It has developed missiles capable of reaching Israel and U.S. bases in the region. These missiles, coupled with Iran's vast network of proxy militias, give Tehran significant leverage. Iran has also made strides in its air defense capabilities. It has acquired advanced Russian-made S-400 air defense systems. It continues to develop its domestic air defense capabilities. This military buildup is a clear signal to its adversaries. Iran is ready to defend itself. Diplomatically, Iran has sought to strengthen ties with Russia and China. Both countries are wary of U.S. influence in the Middle East. They see Iran as a valuable partner in their efforts to counterbalance American power. Iran's growing relationship with Russia has been particularly noteworthy. The two countries have conducted joint military exercises. They have cooperated closely in Syria, where they both support the Assad regime. This alliance has provided Iran with a degree of diplomatic cover and military support. China, too, has deepened its ties with Iran. Beijing sees Iran as a key link in its Belt and Road Initiative. It has signed a major economic and security agreement with Tehran. This partnership has given Iran an economic lifeline amidst crippling sanctions. Section 5, Washington's calculus between pressure and diplomacy. The Biden administration faces a difficult challenge. It has condemned Iran's nuclear program. It has also imposed sanctions. However, it has also expressed a willingness to return to the negotiating table. The Biden administration has signaled that it is open to rejoining the JCPOA. However, it has also insisted that Iran must return to full compliance with the deal. Tehran, in turn, has demanded that the U.S. lift all sanctions before it scales back its nuclear activities. This impasse has created a dangerous stalemate. The longer it persists, the greater the risk of miscalculation and conflict. The Biden administration must find a way to break the deadlock. Failure to do so could have disastrous consequences. Section 6. Jerusalem's shadow, Israel's position. Israel views Iran's nuclear program as an existential threat. It has repeatedly threatened to take military action to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Israel possesses its own undeclared nuclear arsenal. It has shown a willingness to use force to protect its security interests. Israel has conducted airstrikes against Iranian targets in Syria. It has reportedly sabotaged Iranian nuclear facilities. It has also made it clear that it will not hesitate to act unilaterally if it perceives an imminent threat. Israel's hawkish stance has further complicated the situation. It has put pressure on the U.S. to take a tougher stance against Iran. It has also raised the specter of a regional war that could engulf the entire Middle East. Section 7. Ripples of tension, regional concerns and anxieties. The escalating tensions between Iran and the West have sent shockwaves through the Middle East. These tensions are not just political but have deep-rooted historical and cultural implications that affect the entire region. Arab Gulf states, particularly Saudi Arabia, are watching with growing unease. The potential for conflict has them on high alert as they prepare for any possible fallout. They fear Iran's regional ambitions. Iran's influence stretches across several countries, and its military capabilities are a constant source of concern for its neighbors. They are also wary of being caught in the crossfire of a potential conflict. The humanitarian cost of such a conflict would be enormous, affecting millions of lives. Saudi Arabia and Iran are locked in a bitter rivalry for regional hegemony. This rivalry is not just about power but also about ideological dominance in the Muslim world. They back opposing sides in conflicts across the Middle East, from Yemen to Syria to Lebanon. These proxy wars have only intensified the animosity between the two nations. The rivalry is fueled by sectarian differences, geopolitical competition, and historical animosity. The Sunni-Shia divide adds another layer of complexity to the already volatile situation. The escalation of tensions has raised fears of a direct conflict between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Such a conflict would not only destabilize the region, but could also draw in global powers, making it a worldwide concern. Such a conflict would be devastating for the region. The humanitarian crisis would be unprecedented, with countless lives lost and communities destroyed. It would have ripple effects felt across the globe. The global economy would suffer and international relations would be strained. The international community must work to prevent such a scenario. Diplomatic efforts and peace talks are crucial in de-escalating the situation and ensuring stability in the region. Section 8. A deal undone, the uncertain fate of the JCPOA. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal, was a landmark agreement aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear capabilities in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. The fate of the JCPOA hangs in the balance. Since the United States' withdrawal from the agreement in 2018, the deal has been on shaky ground. The Biden administration has expressed a willingness to revive the deal. They believe that re-entering the agreement is crucial for global security and non-proliferation efforts. However, it faces significant obstacles. The path to revival is fraught with diplomatic challenges and political barriers. Iran is demanding guarantees that the U.S. will not withdraw from the deal again. This demand stems from a deep mistrust built over years of geopolitical tension. It also wants all sanctions lifted. The economic impact of these sanctions has been severe, affecting the daily lives of ordinary Iranians. The U.S., meanwhile, insists that Iran must return to full compliance with the deal before any sanctions are lifted. This includes halting uranium enrichment and allowing comprehensive inspections. This impasse has created a stalemate. Both sides are holding firm on their positions, making progress difficult. The longer it continues, the less likely it is that the deal can be salvaged. The stakes are high. A failure to reach an agreement could have far-reaching consequences. The collapse of the JCPOA would be a major setback for diplomacy. It would undermine years of negotiations and diplomatic efforts. It would increase the risk of a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. Countries in the region might feel compelled to develop their own nuclear capabilities in response. It would also further destabilize the region and raise the specter of conflict. The geopolitical landscape of the Middle East is already volatile, and the collapse of the JCPOA could exacerbate tensions. Section 9. Iran at the precipice. Choices and consequences. Iran stands at a crossroads. It can choose the path of confrontation. This path leads to further isolation, sanctions, and the risk of military conflict. Or it can choose the path of diplomacy. This path, while challenging, offers the best hope for a peaceful resolution. The choices Iran makes in the coming months will have profound implications for the future of the Middle East. The world is watching. The stakes have never been higher.